Hello everyone. I wanted to address something today that hopefully will be a really fun and interesting topic, which is how do different types, especially feelers versus thinkers or FE versus FI, how do they express their emotions? Now, I've been getting a lot of comments the past few days, especially saying things like, are you okay? Are you sad? You seem depressed, like things like that. And that's a pretty rational conclusion to make based on the fact that if you've seen some of my recent videos, I'm going through a lot of change at the moment. But I've even gotten comments like this in other videos where literally did not feel sad at all, was just talking, like didn't really know what the other person was talking about. They'd be like, you seem sad. And I'd be like, really? Like, I don't know. And a lot of people thought I was sad in my How I View INTPs video when I really wasn't. I kept taking pauses and deep breaths because I'm stressed out whenever I try and make a logical conclusion, especially to people that are more logical than me. I kind of will take deep breaths because I'm not always all the way confident in my ability to express my opinion. And so in some of the videos I've done about thinkers, I've been like, okay, how can I say this in a most like bulletproof way that isn't going to be like torn to shreds? Like I sometimes am not super confident in my logic. So that's might be what you're seeing there. But I sort of wanted to address this because I've been getting a lot of comments being like, are you so sad? Are you depressed? And the answer is no, I don't think I am, unless there's something that you guys are seeing that I'm not seeing. And if you are, please let me know. Like, I'm always willing to grow, and like, I'm not perfect. Like, I'm sure I've got some subconscious stuff that I'm not aware of. I mean, I'm all about preaching self-awareness and self-discovery. And I believe everyone, no matter how woke or conscious you think you are, has some sort of subconscious feelings and thoughts that you aren't aware of. But yeah, I've been getting this comment, and I feel like people don't understand that what extroverted feeling is and what it actually looks like. If an extroverted feeler, if their face drops or if their face like perks up, it's not necessarily like an indication, like the percentage of expression is not necessarily an accurate indication of knowing how someone feels. Let me say that in a different way. I believe that every single human feels the same amount. We all feel, think, sense, and intuit. All of us. Your Myers-Briggs personality type and the cognitive functions that you prefer are your preferences. That means that those are the functions that are the most conscious, that you are the most awoken to in your brain. So that means that if you're a thinker, then you feel the same. Your feelings are just more subconscious. Whereas for me, my thoughts can be more subconscious. It doesn't make them any less real. And so it doesn't really make sense whenever thinkers try and say that a feeler is like too emotional or, whoa, like you're so sad right now, when just because you are seeing it being expressed doesn't mean that a feeler is overreacting or feeling more intensely than a thinker. I think we all know, like, this is maybe a little bit of a stereotype, but might be able to help you see. TJs are often the sort of people that won't express a lot of emotion. TJs, they won't be like, oh my God, I love you, like when they see you all the time. But these types would be the type where if the house was burning down, they would run in and out and like grab their loved ones and like save their loved one. Like that's an expression of love, It's just not necessarily shown in the face. And come on, we know this. We know that emotional expression is not always shown in the face. You have to think of FE users, especially FE dominant types like ENFJs and ESFJs, as a lot of emotions shown in the face. Like, we just have more shown in our face. That doesn't mean that we are feeling more. Just like it doesn't mean that, like, an FE user loves their spouse more because they say that I love you more. That, you know, that's not true. And TJs don't really express their emotions like that, but you know that they have feelings. Like, you know that TJs love their loved ones, you know? They just express it differently. And so it's really not fair to judge a feeler, especially an FJ, based on their facial expressions. Like, that's not, like, all there is to it. I've been called a drama queen, and I think that a lot of ENFJ and ESFJs are kind of drama queens in the sense that it might look like they are down and out and then, like, on top of a mountain, like, within moments, because we're going to show on our face the totality of the emotion. That's like what extroverted feeling is. We're going to express objectively everything we feel. And so I've talked to my ENFP best friend about this before, which, by the way, I'm going to link a video in this description. My ENFP best friend recently made a video about our friendship that I think is really informative and awesome. So I'll link that below if you're interested. But she's, like, said before that, like, she used to not really trust FE users because, like, for her feelings are more introverted, and so if she sees an expression, she always assumes that it's like the tip of the iceberg and that there's so many more feelings beneath. But for extroverted feeling, it's not the tip of the iceberg. What you see is what you get. Whenever an introverted feeler expresses their feeling, then that is like a volcano erupting. Like, there is a lot deep down there that you don't know and you don't see. But just because an extroverted feeler is expressing the totality of their emotions does not mean that they're necessarily, like, you might see, like, a little micro expression of sadness on my face. Does that mean that there is deep depression down there? No, not really. Like, you're just seeing, like, the moment of sadness. Also, I'll just say, as an ENFJ, I use introverted intuition and extroverted sensing, and so I try so hard to just live in the moment. Like, every moment is a different moment. So I might experience sadness, and then the next moment I'm experiencing happiness. I've processed the sadness, it's done. People that value SI and NE are more likely to sort of go through phases of emotions, and their SI will stick to a pattern. So, in general, feelers, you're going to see more emotion on their face, especially extroverted feelers. Extroverted feelers, you're going to see all their emotions. What you see is what you get. You are not going to be able, they are not, if they're mad at you, like, you're going to know. If they are happy with you, you're going to know. Like, if they're overwhelmed, you're going to know. Like, I've been told that my mood can affect a room, and that if I'm in a bad mood, it's hard for other people to concentrate, even if I'm not directly talking to them. Even if I'm just doing my own thing with my headphones on, my fuming, when I'm fuming, the whole room could feel it. That's just how I am. And so that's especially going to be true for extroverted feelers. Introverted feelers, to a lesser extent, their volcano is going to erupt more often than a TJ. And so you might be able to see their feelings more often, and FPs kind of seem like they're triggered randomly. It's because their volcano will set off more often than a TJ, who you'll only see them set off. Many of them can, like, count on their hands, like, the amount of how many breakdowns they've had in the last couple of years. Like, they can count them, and it's not a very large number. because they're pretty much able to maintain composure most of the time. Extroverted feelers, not like that. Like, we cry probably once a week. I mean, I don't even really know. I'm not going to speak for everyone, but I would say, like, FJs cry a lot, and it's not really a big deal, like, when we cry. It just seems like, whew, all right, I let go of that, now let's move on. Like, crying is really not a big deal. I feel like people should do it more. I feel like it's cleansing, you know, all that stuff. Now, the thinkers, you aren't going to see their emotion on their face, but what I think is funny is that TPs, you might be subconscious to your emotion, but you have FE, and we all can see it, and we all can feel it. And this is why in some of my videos about TPs, I've talked about their emotional outbursts. And maybe you're sitting here like, I don't have emotional outbursts, I'm so logical. That's fair. But your feelings, if you're a TP, your feelings are subconscious, and so you are not as in tune with them. So as a feeler, I am in tune with reading the emotional energy of the room, and TPs specifically stick out to me because I can read their FE, and you can see it on their face. And I don't think TPs understand how obvious it is to people whenever they're in a bad mood, because they aren't thinking about it, they feel fine. But yeah, and I mean, and TJs are the lowest in the list. Like, you probably, like, they might be going through like the worst time of their lives. Like, maybe their dad just died, but you might not know. Like, they'll show up to work the next day and look normal. You see, for me, like, the past few months or so, like, I've had a lot of change in my life and a little bit of overwhelm, but this is like, I'm like the most happy with myself as I've ever been. Like, no, not everything's in order, but I just feel like for the first time, like, I actually really love myself unconditionally, and I'm not gonna try. I feel like I care less about what people think than I ever have, and I feel very light and free. And just because I might have an expression of sadness, I mean, it's not like today was the worst, or it's not like today was the best day I've ever had. Just because I have an expression of sadness doesn't mean that I'm like depressed. And so I'd be curious to see, and by the way, this isn't meant to be defensive or anything. I just, when I see all of your comments, this isn't like, oh, you're wrong, but like, it's interesting to me if I see, if enough amount of people are seeing the same read off of me, I'm curious to know why. Like, is there something that I am unaware of about myself, or is there like a perception that all of you who saw that in me share that maybe I can learn from? My guess is that most of you that think that are FI users, but I might be wrong. So I don't know. What do you guys think? How do you express your emotion? Do you think that everyone experiences the same amount of emotion, but we express it differently? That's what I believe. I believe that emotion is just part of the human experience. I feel like to say that some people experience more emotion than others would be just as stupid as saying that some people can last longer touching a hot stove, and some can, like, we all could like feel tactily. Like, I could feel this box, could, you know, feel my head. I mean, we all could feel, but sensors react more to their sensory world and are aware more of where they are in their sensory world. It's like the same with feeling. Like, feeling is just another one of, like, we have our five senses, and then feeling is another sense. I believe that feeling, whenever you feel good, I feel like feeling is like a little inner thermometer if you're getting hotter or warmer to the thing you want. And if you're feeling good, if you have a positive feeling, that means you're getting closer, and negative means that maybe there's something wrong going on, and you have to pay attention to them if you want to align yourself to where you want to go. I think that feeling is an amazing tool that we all have, and it doesn't mean that, I don't know, we all experience it and we all express it differently. And ENFJs definitely express the like the multitude of them very objectively. So thanks for watching this video. If you have any other video topics that you'd like to see, please comment below and subscribe if you haven't already. Have a wonderful rest of your evening.